Hi there! Welcome to Craft with Kathie. Doing a nice project tonight using the Prayer Warrior transfer. It has 4 separate images. The one on the left that I'm going to be doing tonight says Salt and Light Be the Good. And then there's Prayer Warrior, Saved by Grace, and Faith over Fear. It's a nice, good size transfer, 12 by 18 inches. So it's very versatile. I'm going to be doing it on a somewhat new surface. Let me grab it here and show you. But this is actually called the Arch and Easel. This is the easel. And let me show you the arch. This is so cool. So I'm just getting the laptop back within reach. Okay. So this is the arch that goes with it, and it is our Couture Boutique surface, which is like a chalkboard of sorts that you can erase when you use chalk paste on it. Spritz it with water, let it set, use a board eraser or a board scraper or just a paper towel to remove the image. If you want it to be permanent forever, then just seal it. That's all you have to do. But isn't this cool? I guess if I slide it in from the top would make the most sense, right? So basically, it's an easel. Let's see if I turn it this way, if you can get a good look at it. Not the best. But anyway, there's this the stand to go with the easel so it stands up. So this can be, it's not something that you're going to hang on the wall. But the coolest thing about this is it's our Couture Boutique surface in black on one side and white on the other. How neat is that? So it's double-sided and you have the choice of which background you want. For tonight's project, I'm going with the white, and I'm going to move this easel out of the way so I could clear up a little bit of space for myself. Being that I have to deal with a little dog that's impinging on my little work area. She's not really a little dog. She's generally, I mean, she's a husky, so she's medium, large size dog, but lately, she's been encroaching on my space. She seems, I've doubled like her sleeping area, and I don't know what's going on. Whatever. She's a sweetheart though. So anyway, I'm going to use this arch from the arch and easel, and I'm going to do the Salt and Light on it. This will fit very nice, I think. The roundness, the curve of the words goes really nice with the arch, so that's perfect. And I'm going to be using Storm and Nominee for my paste colors. And let's just get started with that. So before I get moving on it, I need to fuzz my transfer. Hey, Maggies. Honey, go lay down. So I'm going to use a fuzzing cloth. If you don't have a fuzzing cloth or a fuzzing towel, you could just actually use a towel or a pair of jeans or a sweater or whatever. The idea is I want to deliberately apply a little bit of lint to the back of the transfer so that it doesn't stick quite as snugly. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm peeling it right off. I've already cut the transfer apart on the cut lines. So let me lift this off. I'm just going to lay it down and lift it up a few times to put a little lint to diminish the stickiness so it doesn't stick too strongly. But being that this is chalkboard, it's not like I'm doing it on mirror or metal or glass. Then I would fuzz quite a bit more. I hope everyone's had a good start to their week. I'm going to line up the wording with my arch first. Just kind of eyeball it, make sure I have everything straight. Let me turn it around and see if I got things right. I think that'll go good. Okay, I'm going to smooth it out. Remove any air bubbles. I just felt an air bubble right over here, so all you have to do is lift it up and then smooth it down again. And that's pretty much it. Okay. So I'm going to be using the Nominee paste, which is a nice gold, and our Storm, which is a grayish. And I think this is a brand new jar, so let me open this up, get the lid off before I can actually get started with it. Okay, so you can use our transfers on surfaces, wood, metal, mirror, glass, whatever, or you could actually use them on fabric. So if you wanted to put this on a pillowcase, you could do that, like a pillow for your living room. You could definitely do that. So I'm just thinking a little bit of what I want to do, what color. I'm definitely going to do the lantern in the Storm. So I'm just grabbing a little bit of paste with my squeegee. Oops, sorry, it's a little wet there. And okay, so make sure everything's cool. All right. And I'm just going to go over the silkscreen portion of the transfer with my squeegee. Now the silkscreen is wherever it's showing white, so I just gently go over that area, and basically what happens is the paste that's on your squeegee will go through the silkscreen and attach to the surface beneath it. Our chalk paste, it's not paint, it's chalk paste, goes on liquid but will dry hard, which makes it conducive to using it on many different surfaces. And on lots of surfaces, it's fully erasable. But things that are porous like wood, most likely it will not erase, because the wood will actually sometimes discolor or absorb the pigment of the paste, and so you won't be able to actually reuse it. If you wanted to, though, I suppose you could just repaint the piece of wood and then reuse your surface. But the idea behind it is you can change up your designs, use the same surface, use it over and over and over throughout the year without having to buy a new surface. Just when you tire of an image or whatever, just spritz it with water and use a board eraser or a board scraper or a paper towel to just remove the image. It really is that simple. I hope it's warming up wherever you're viewing from. We were in the 60s today, which was definitely an improvement over the last couple days. We've been on this roller coaster. It'll go up into the 70s and then drop down into the 30s and 40s and then back up to the 60s, 70s, and then drop back down. It's just been total craziness. But that's Chicago weather. I shouldn't really complain. We've had really a very mild winter compared to normal, so it actually has been quite nice. Now I'm going to leave the X in the middle alone. I'm not fully coloring that in. I'll explain why in a little bit. And I'm also going to be using I'm debating if I want to use black or not. Oh, no, my shimmer shadow is a little dry. If your paste dries out, the easiest thing to do to rejuvenate it or reconstitute it, if you will, is to spritz a little bit of distilled water in it and and mix it up. And you want to use distilled water because you don't want to take any chance of any minerals in your water or any chemicals in your water mixing with the pigments of the paste and discoloring it. Okay. I'm just thinking out loud a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to do paste and peel method for this. I wasn't going to. If I wasn't talking so much, I probably wouldn't need to. Basically, use the paste and peel so that you don't have any risk of your paste drying in your silk screen. See the beautiful clarity of this? Now, you want to lift the transfer up while your paste is still wet and then set it aside to dry. But I'm going to continue on with this project. Hey, Maggie, easy, sweetheart. I'm going to continue on with the project. I'm just going to lay this down gently, lift up the other side for a moment to kind of let that dry. I don't want to move my transfer, though. I want to keep it aligned where it is. So I'll just wait a moment. I'm going to, I think, do the wording in the nominee. I had this all thought out and I'm changing my mind, which is not a good thing to do, but whatever. Okay, so now I'm going to just lay this back down. Make sure I'm attached to my surface here. I'm going to do my wording in the storm, and then I'm going to do the lines radiating out from the lantern in the nominee, and I'm going to color in the center of the lantern with the nominee. So let me do my words, and then we'll go on to something that's a little bit involved. It really is not difficult at all. If you can butter toast, believe me, you can chalk. So I just smooth the paste over the silk screen, and then when I'm done applying it, go over it, smooth out any lines that might be there, and take up any excess paste and put the excess paste back into the jar. So I'm going to finish the wording, and then I'm going to do the paste and peel again, peel it up, let it set for a few moments, and then go on to the next part of it. If you're new to chalking, just comment new so that if there's anything that I could be helpful in explaining, I'll go in a little bit more detail. If you are not part of my VIP group and would like to be privy to more information, inspiration, some cool projects, and the occasional game or two, comment VIP and I will send you the link to my free VIP group. And if you're finding this informative or interesting, give me a thumbs up or comment. I need to clean my fingers. Our paste is water soluble, so it's easy to clean. And once this dries, you lift it up. Once this dries, it will be a hard finish. You could actually scrape it off with your fingernail if you wanted to, but if it's going to be in an area where it's going to get a lot of handling or whatever, and you don't want to take any chances of that happening, then you just spray it with a sealer. But the flip side, of course, that is then you can't use that surface again. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down gently. Actually, for what I'm doing, I could lift this all up. I don't know what I was thinking here. Too much talking and not thinking. Okay, let me lift this up, show you what we've got so far. And then I'll go on to the next portion. But look at that beautiful definition. Isn't that nice and clear? So I'm going to set this aside to dry. And I need to find a board eraser, which I know I've had a bunch of them out here. Let me just grab one, because I want to clean up that transfer, because I'm going to do a little bit of painting and then I'm going to reuse the transfer. And because I don't have a camera at the sink, let me lay this down here. I'm going to clean it up on my surface. Now, if your transfer sticks together like that, gently peel it apart. You don't want to pull and stretch it, because our transfers are made out of vinyl and silkscreen, and with proper care you can get 8 to 12 uses or more out of each transfer. However, you just want to be careful not to stretch it. Kind of be nice to it. This is a used board eraser. Obviously they're reusable. Just going to wet it a little bit, and all I really should have done after last time I used this is just run it through the water and remove the paste from it, which I didn't do, but it's fine. As you can see, it comes off pretty quickly, pretty easy with a board eraser. You don't have to use a board eraser. You could use your fingers and just massage it if you want. And then I'm taking a disinfecting wipe and just going over the top of it, making sure all that silkscreen is cleared of any of the chalk paste in there. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the opposite side. Get the paste out of the sticky side, off the reverse or whatever. If you're not sure, if you're concerned that you might not have all the paste off, just put your transfer up to the light. As long as you could see through the little screen of the silk screen, you're fine. But you want to make sure that you get the paste out, because obviously if any of that screen is clogged, the next time you use it, you're not going to get as high definition as you did previously. Now, this looks like it might have done some staining, which is fine because it's a darker paste, so it could very well stain the silk screen and make it look a little darker. So the transfer doesn't look as pretty as it did when we started, when it was brand new, but it's still as functional, as usable as it was. You go back over, make sure I'm not pulling up any more paste here. It looks like I've got it cleaned up pretty well. Word's done. Okay, so now when I have all the paste off, I want to remove the lint. So I'm going to go over the transfer in one direction. Am I frozen? To me, I look like I'm frozen. If you could comment and let me know if we're still live. I know Facebook says I'm live, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so I go in one direction and just wipe off any lint. And usually I could see the teal come off, the little fuzz from the fuzzing cloth come up, and then I know I've gotten it all cleaned off. Okay, so this is it. Now what you want to do is you want to set it on a flat surface to dry, sticky side up. But I want to dry this a little bit quicker than waiting for it to dry on its own. So I'm going to place it on our fuzzing cloth. Our fuzzing cloth has a terry side that I use for fuzzing, and then a microfiber side. And the microfiber side is really good for drying your chalkboards and things, but it is also a nice quick way to speed dry your transfer. I'm placing it on the microfiber side, sticky side up, folding it over, squeezing out all the moisture, and it'll almost be ready to use. Just has to dry a few more minutes. Because once I finish doing the next step, I'm going to lay this back down and redo part of it. I just want to take a portion of this that I'm going to use as kind of like a makeup sponge or a dauber to do a little painting. Let me take a look at this. Oh, I think it's probably just about dry. In general, our paste will dry in 5 minutes. If it's our shimmer paste, it might take up to 8 minutes. If you don't want to wait that long, then you can use a hairdryer on a low setting. Just wanted to make sure this is a nice consistency. Isn't this nominee absolutely beautiful? Look at that rich gold. It's not even, it's shimmery, but it's so metallic. It's just a beautiful gold. It makes your projects just stand out. Okay, so I want to make sure that my surface is nice and dry here. And then I'm going to paint. So I want to use my nominee paste and my little board eraser that I'm going to use kind of as a dauber. If I could keep my fingers out from the inside. And actually color in the lantern portion so that it looks like light shining through it. So I'm just doing a little bit of dabbing here. Grabbed a little bit too much. You could, of course, use a paintbrush if you wanted to. I'm going to get right into the edges there. Oops. I don't have the steadiest of hands, so sometimes something like this could be a little challenging for me. I just want it to look like the lantern's lit, and this is the light shining through it. So I just continue dabbing on the gold paste, the nominee paste, until I get the coverage and the look that I want. If you want it a little bit deeper, you might want to let it dry and then go back and give it a second coat of paste. Or you could use a paintbrush, whatever fits. Now I also want to actually add the lines that radiate out from the lantern in my nominee, but I can't lay this transfer back down until the gold nominee in the center has dried. So I have to wait a few moments for that. Okay, I think that's fine. It looks a little bit blotchy. I think it's still drying a bit, but in reality, light shining through isn't going to be one solid color anyway, so it's more realistic the way it is. So let me get this transfer back over here and fuzz it again before I lay it back down. On my arch surface. Whoops. And you want to fuzz it on the cherry side. It's pretty much a repeat of what we did. Oh, that's nice and sticky. You always want your transfers to keep as much adhesiveness or the stickiness as possible, because that's what makes them so special. They stay nice and nice. They don't move around. They're a nice play. They are nice and secure when you're chalk. I can't talk tonight. It's a true Monday. What could I say? And then you do not fuzz when you're putting your transfer on fabric, though. Just so you know that, because you want, there's no need to. The fabric has lint and whatever, and you want it to stick as strongly as possible. So I'm just laying this back down over my design that I've already chalked. I want to make sure it's lined up as much as possible, and then I'm going to basically take my storm and go back over this area that I colored or that I painted. So the section of the center of the lantern, whoops, just want to go back over this and redefine the lines. That's why I didn't bother coloring in the X, because I knew I was going to have to lay it back down and go over it again to basically redefine the lantern shape on top of the gold paste, if that makes any sense. That was quick and easy, wasn't it? Now I want to do the lines radiating out in my gold. As you can see, a little bit of paste goes a long way. Smooth it all out. Do the other side. And got a little bit of paste on the back of that squeegee that I couldn't get off. There we go. Okay, peel and reveal time. And I want to be careful and not smudge it. I do have a tiny little smudge here that I could, got paste on my fingers that I could probably clean off with a little wet tissue right there. Or I could let it dry and I could kind of etch it with my detail tool. Let me get the base to go with this. Isn't this sharp? And I want to be careful because obviously the center's still wet. So I'm going to just slide it in. Kind of a big surface, a little bit of a big project tonight. What do you think? I don't even know if there's any way to really get you to actually see the base, the full base with it. There we go. So that was actually pretty quick, easy project, a little bit more involved than some of my normal ones, but I think it turned out nice, and I think it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. See you soon.